So tell me, who are you?
Okay, so I'm Breanna Chanelle. I'm a 20-year-old poet from Brampton, and I'm also a student at Guelph Humber taking the social work program.
What do you love?
What I love,
What are you passionate about?
I'm passionate, obviously, like I said, I'm a poet, so I'm passionate about poetry, but on a whole, I'm just passionate about betterment for society, helping people, like I said, to better themselves, creativity, all that type of stuff.
Okay, so what do you represent?
Creative expression and discussion group that I started here in Brampton. It's called Soul Tree. Basically, it's held every other Sunday at Knowledge Bookstore, 177 Queen Street West, downtown Brampton. And basically what we do is we have a different discussion topic each week. So we discuss issues such as color blindness and that type of stuff. So my hope, my dream, or my vision for that is that people will come and they will be not only will they be able to express themselves freely, but they will also be able to hear the opinions of other people and hear things that they may not have thought about before. And in that, they will be inspired, whether they're a creative person, they may be inspired to, create based on the opinions of others, or maybe if you're just an intellectual, it just sparks some thoughts and you can share that with other people. So it's unity with discussion. We're also looking for a lot more artistic people so that we can start expanding on our open mic section of our meetings. But yeah, so every other Sunday at Knowledge Bookstore, 177 Queen Street West. We have a website up, www.soultry.org. We're also on Twitter. We have a Facebook page. We're on Instagram. Our email is soultree004@gmail.com.
Is there anything else you want to say about Soul Tree, perhaps as to why you started this, or if there's an incentive or reason behind it?
Yeah, for sure. So basically, being an artistic person in Brampton, it's very, very, very hard to find outlets. As an artistic person in Brampton, you have to travel very far to Toronto or Scarborough. And I just found that we needed to build our artistic reputation in Brampton, and this is my contribution to that. That's what drove it.
Thank you for that. So when were you first introduced to poetry, and what would you say that it means to you?
Poetry for me started as an outlet. It wasn't necessarily me actually trying to create poems. It was just me writing how I felt about situations. I wouldn't even keep them. I would actually write them and just throw them away. And I felt like once I threw them away, it was like me ridding myself of that issue or that problem. I started that in grade 9. So after a while, like when I was in grade 12, I realized that I actually did have a talent with writing just through sharing certain things with my friends. They're like, oh, like you're actually good. You should pursue it. So that's when I actually started writing poems, consciously writing poems.
I'd like to actually hear your poem that you submitted for our Nexposé Resolution Edition, so if you don't mind reading it to me, that'd be great.
Sure. Dear the man who had the nerve to look me in the eye, head held high with a half-cracked smile, and utter the words, I don't see color, as if his apparent inability to pick up on this rich complexion would somehow end the ongoing struggle of an entire nation. Look deeper, so deep that you see sailing ships in my eyes. I want you to see color. I need you to see color. Blue skies with pink blood-stained waters above the graveyards of a people who never lived to see tomorrow. I need you to see that I stand blacker than ever, dark eyes beaten until I could no longer stand, hands tied, because I fought to protect the honor of this melanin from the penetration of dilution. Open your eyes, look twice. I need you to see that your efforts have failed. I need you to see color. I need you to see me standing here, blacker than ever. Do you remember? The sounds of heavy bodies hitting the water. Shh, listen. I need you to remember the sounds of a village. Oh, freedom, oh, freedom. You do not see color, do you hear it? Do you hear color begging to be set free? You offer me an apology in the form of, I don't see color. And once a year you remind me of some revolutionary men who looked just like me, presenting me with a dime-sized portion of my stolen history. Once a year you see color in the form of a speech. Well, I too had a dream, that one day I would be free, but I am still heavily chained by an untold story. You never speak of my deteriorating flesh and bloods unsparingly spilt over a land and fertilizing soils that would nourish mouths filled with lies. Then, when my flesh raises hell in the pits of their stomachs, only then will they regurgitate me and feed those very same remains to my children in the form of half-assed truths in my absence. Dear men who don't see color, Look deeper, search further. I stand blacker than ever. From this melanin, there is no exit. For what a blind man can't see still exists.
That was beautiful. Thank you very much. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit more about your poem. Like, what do you feel that the main issue is that incorporates with the changes you'd like to see in the world for 2014?
My poem, first of all, was written in the perspective of a Black woman because I am a Black woman. However, it can be applied to many different discriminatory situations. Basically, the message behind that poem is that being colorblind or choosing to not see color is not alleviating any problems. It's just proving that there is a problem there that's being suppressed. And if you're, suppressing the fact that something bothers you or you're uncomfortable with something, that uncomfortable feeling will come out in other ways. So I just think that we need to be more mindful of our subtle discriminations, and it's something that we need to spread awareness about and not feel so obviously it's not a positive thing, but I don't think that we should feel so afraid to acknowledge the fact that maybe we do have discriminations. We all have discriminations. It's just a matter of recognizing that and trying to figure out why it is that you feel that way and how it is that you can move away from those feelings.
Okay, so do you have any suggestions as to what we should do to help with this resolution, like to bring awareness to the causes of discrimination? Like, what do you think that anyone watching this should do that might question themselves, like, hey, have I been indirectly discriminating race or color?
I think that's definitely something that needs to start within yourself, because you are the only person that can really say and express how you feel and how certain things make you feel. So I think it's really important for you to look at yourself, your daily interactions, and figure out in what ways you may or may not be discriminatory. For example, people who may have experienced somebody, maybe they brought up something with somebody being discriminatory and somebody saying, oh no, like I'm not racist because, I have a Black friend. And it's just like, because you have a Black friend, that doesn't mean that you're racist. And the fact that you're bringing that up, it's kind of proves that you are discriminatory.
So what are some ways that you try to put this change into place for yourself? Like, what are some ways that you try to keep yourself in check and be mindful?
Personally, as a student in the social work field itself, like, we're always reminded to be mindful of, derogatory terms. It's something that, like, if I'm speaking to my friend and I use a derogatory term, I'll correct myself. Like, some people might recognize it and just let it fly by. But for me, it's just so that I can put my mindset in a certain frame, I will make sure that I go back and I correct that and be like, that shouldn't have been said. I think that's one of the ways that I try to do that. I also bring awareness to my friends. Like, if they were to say something derogatory, I'd be like, like, you shouldn't be using that word, or that may harm this population because this and that and the other.
So it's being mindful of yourself and how you feel when people direct certain words or actions to you, and then also trying to put yourself in the shoes of others.
Exactly.
And just being conscious of your actions and words towards people. If you were to put all of that into one message for people to hear, what would you say? What do you want people to hear?
I want people to hear is that it's actually a quote. Ignorance of ignorance is the death of knowledge. So basically, it's not the fact that you're ignorant to certain things that is the death of knowledge. It's the fact that you're choosing to be ignorant about the fact that you are ignorant. If you don't acknowledge the fact that you possibly don't know about something or you're wrong about something, there's no way that you're going to go seek knowledge about it. I think it's important that you just recognize that there is an issue and that ignoring the issue is not going to make the issue go away. You have to deal with the issue.
Thank you so much for sharing your resolution with Nexposé. I look forward to sharing your voice with the rest of the world.
Thank you.